My next tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to talk about one of the interesting topic, which is how to create a dual pane layouts with static fragments. Okay, so what is dual pane layouts? Dual pane layouts are mostly used in tablets. Tablets are the mobile devices with the screen size greater than 7 inch. And what is this dual pane layouts? Dual pane layouts are is having consisting of two panes. One pane is for the self-contained part of the user interface, and the another pane is for your supporting pane, or maybe you have a detailed information fragment pane, or some kind of a like. So you are dual pane layouts. You can just pretty much imagine dual pane layouts as two independent fragments, but you are trying to display two fragments at the in the same activity, because your screen size is huge, like 7 inch is a huge screen size. So you can pretty much pretty much add two fragments in the same activity, and optimize your view. Okay, so this is the objective of the tutorial is I'm gonna create a dual pane layouts for the tablet. Okay, so if you are interested in creating dual pane layouts for your tablet, so let's go right on to the code, and let's do that. Okay, so here I have a pane demo activity. So I'm gonna create a normal layout. Okay, for the normal activity, I mean normal size screen, normal layout for the normal screen size, which is gonna be called activity dual pane. Okay, so this is for normal size. Okay, and similarly I will be also creating a dual pane layout, a real dual pane layout for the tablet. Okay, so for creating the layouts for the tablet, which is of screen size greater than 7 inch, this is the procedure. Okay, first, okay, let me activity pane. Okay, the name is same. The what changes here is you have to just select smallest screen width, just select this one, then you have to click on this selection, then you have to assign your smallest screen width, that is 600. Okay, so this is what is SW stands for shortest width of your device. If your shortest width of the device is over 600 dp, then use these resources. Okay, this is the declaration in Android. Okay, so Android will automatically, if the screen size is greater than smallest shortest width of the device is over 600 dp, then it's gonna use the resources from this directory, right? You see here. And all the tablets, like tablets screen width is greater than 600 dp, so they are gonna utilize this the layouts declared in this directory name. So this is the most important concept that you have to understand when you are creating a layout for tablets, right? Or the screen size which has the shortest width greater than 600 dp. So let me click to OK, and yes, you see I have two layouts, one is for normal screen size, and another one is for with the screen width greater than 600 dp, right? So I have two layouts. So this is the concept. So now we are gonna create these layouts. Okay, so the first step is we're gonna see what layouts we can okay, we are gonna check our layout, and we are gonna create a layout for the normal screen, right? uh, okay, so let me check out my this normal screen layout, and then I'm gonna create the layout, right? So you my dual pane layout will be consisting of pretty much nothing but a simple fragment. Okay, and the fragment will have a match parent. Okay, let me now declare create a fragment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a very simple application to demonstrate the uh, demonstrate this dual plane layout. So first I'm gonna create a list of like a fragment which is pretty much a blank fragment which is named as a list fragment. Okay, so let me create this list fragment. Okay, and yeah, voila, we have a list fragment. So we will have this list fragment in the normal screen size, right? So we are gonna see the dual pane layout. For the normal screen size, we will have the ID, and it will be like the star sign. Okay, it's a list. Okay, and we will have the name of the fragment as a list fragment, right? Okay, so we are good to go with the list fragment. Then we will also have to create the similar dual pane layouts for our tablet layout. Okay, so what we are gonna do is we are gonna have the similar yeah, actually I can copy this fragment because our okay, let me just do one simple. Okay, so this is the layout for dual plane, and this is layout for your tablet, and this is the layout for your normal size phone. Okay, this is for your phones with the screen size less than 7 inch. That means your normal phones, right? And this is the layout for your tablet. So it's gonna be quite different because we are gonna have to display more than one fragments in the layout, right? So yeah, let me make the layout look different. So it's gonna contain two layouts. One is okay, which is separated by also a view. It's also called a background. Okay, it's a vertical divider. And what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna pretty much use the linear layout with the orientation to horizontal. So what's gonna happen is like I'm gonna have a fragment, a view, and then also another fragment. Okay, I'm gonna also, let me copy and paste for the moment, but I have to create another fragment which is pretty much let me create another fragment here which will be like a detailed fragment. Okay, so let's me create the fragment, a black fragment called detailed fragment. Okay, so we have just created our detailed fragment which is pretty much like this using the template driven approach. And so this is our detailed fragment. So it is gonna be a detail, right? And similarly you will have this one also named as detail fragment. Okay, so let me split. Okay, for the moment it's still rendering, so let's not worry about this one. But the important concept that you have to understand, guys, is this is your normal phones layout, normal phone layout, and this is your layout of your tablet, right? So the only difference that you see is like we are pretty much using the tablet layouts are pretty much inside this directory, that is SW600DP, and you can customize your tablet layout on the basis of how much, like you can customize according to your choice, okay, how you want to look like. You can also pretty much assign only one fragment, just like the normal fragment, but like it's better to use the dual plane layouts. So this is the main objective of utilizing dual plane layouts in your tablet, right? So yeah, we move further implementing our dual plane layouts. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna implement now uh, we are gonna implement the the dual plane layouts. So let me check out first the list, right? So okay, where is my list fragment? Yeah, this is my list fragment. I'm gonna close this one just for the purpose of uh, having the clear visibility of the code. So on created view, and pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna override the callback call on view created. Yeah, here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just okay, I'm gonna also first yeah, here I have to update the view of fragment, right? Like update the of fragment, right? uh, okay, so you implement your fragments, like update your view or implement uh, functionality here in this callback, right? Okay, so I want to see the layout of the list. So how gonna it's gonna look like? It's gonna pretty much look like uh, it's gonna be first the scroll view. Okay, let me go to my fragment list, and actually I have prepared a layout. So it's gonna pretty much look like this one, guys. So it will be having a list scroll view with the okay, it's gonna be pretty much looking like a scroll view with all this list of your constellation, okay. So it's pretty similar, like simple. We are gonna pretty much use the linear layout with the orientation vertical and assign all each and every all multiple text views just to assign a text, just to create a list view. And for the simplicity, I'm just using a normal scroll view with the linear layout and text view. But you will, in the upcoming lectures, we will be using recycle another concept called recycle view, which is also a kind of a it recycles your view. Okay, so it's pretty much optimized, and in the real world application we use recycle view. But for the simplicity, and we have not yet introduced recycle view in my tutorial, so I'm just using linear layout and text view for the moment. Okay, so we will be using list view, recycle view with the data bound to the list by the adapter. We will be talking about this in the next chapter. Okay, so yeah, our list view is pretty ready. So we will be also implementing uh, the list. Okay, this fragment. Here I will have first thing is a list of star signs, right? So it will be a list of star signs, views. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all the views with the find view by id and paste it here, right? So it's pretty here, much here, and for each star signs I am gonna press, right? so we still have to do uh, to do okay, so we'll be doing implementing this thing. Okay, so we'll be implementing this thing, but for that, first thing that we also need more is we are gonna so usually obviously your okay, let me check out my, yeah, obviously the user is gonna click, right? Let me split the view. Yeah, user is gonna click and is gonna go to the so let me see if I can access the still not okay. uh, so the user is actually gonna click each item of this list view. Like for example, the user is gonna click this Aquarius, like you know, this star sign, then it's gonna navigate to the detail fragment. So let's also implement the detail fragment. Okay, so fragment detail, the fragment detail is also gonna be look like we'll pretty much have a detailed information, and it's gonna be pretty much looking like this one. Okay, okay, it's gonna pretty much have a title, the description and the date range. Okay, so like star sign symbol and the date range. So okay, so pretty much it's gonna look like this. So what's the idea is, like the user clicks this Aquarius and like I mean this star sign, and it's gonna show the detail. But what is the concept is we are gonna implement in the normal phone devices we are going to use a single fragment, but in the tablets we are going to use a dual pane layout concept. Okay, so yeah, this is the idea what we are gonna implement. So yeah, let's carry on. And okay, so what we are gonna do next is we are gonna implement our the click listener. We also need a click listener, right? Because when we click each item of the list, we have to navigate to or update the view, or navigate or update the view that is displayed in the another fragment, right? So in case of a dual pane, we are gonna just update the view, whereas in case of the normal activity we have to navigate. Okay, so this is the concept. So but for each of this case we are gonna have gonna need a listener. So we're gonna have to detect the selection of this each list item. So how we're gonna do that, we're gonna implement this it in our activity. We're gonna create an interface. uh, so we're gonna create a star sign click listener interface. We are gonna pretty much on clicked. Okay, so we are gonna pretty much assign the ID. And so what we have to do is we have to pretty much implement this this interface in our activity, and we have to override this, right? On selected, on clicked. So whenever you click so actually you know your dual plane demo activity will be consisting like okay, yeah, you will have your set content view is always the same layout, right? uh, Activity dual pane. So this activity dual pane, for the normal phone, we are gonna use, it's gonna render this layout, that is activity dual pane, that is inside this layout folder. Whereas if the phone is a tablet, then it's gonna render the activity of this activity dual pane, right? So okay, so actually also we have to also render the click listener for each we are gonna also use the same listener also for the for click getting access to the lists that we have clicked here, right? So yeah, let me guess what we are gonna do next is uh, we are gonna check. Okay, we are gonna for click listeners, what for the for your list fragment, what we are gonna do is we are gonna use the normal click listener. I mean, like gonna use view on click listener, and we are gonna implement click, yes. So for the normal list uh, like for accessing the click listener, like for each click in the star sign, we're going to use this view on click listener, right? So we're gonna see if the view is getting selected. And what we are gonna do is we are gonna use this listener that I have created. We are gonna create a instance of a listener, which is a star sign click listener. Okay, we're gonna create a star sign click listener, and so once we have created the star sign click listener, we have to attach we have to create the instance of this click listener, right? So when we will be creating this instance is we are gonna pretty much create in on attach of the fragment. So when the fragment is getting attached, so we're gonna uh, at assign the listener. So we're gonna say if context is click listener equals to context, otherwise gonna throw a runtime exception must implement the star sign click listener Okay, so we're gonna pretty much attach the callback. I mean, like we're gonna use this on attach callback, and we're gonna implement this. Uh, as you know that our activity implements the star sign listener, and then what we are gonna do is we are gonna assign the context. That means uh, to this value, star sign click listener, right? Pass the context to this star sign click listener. Now we are pretty much okay to use the click. So for each click, for each views, we will, what we are gonna do is we're gonna know its view is a star sign. So star sign click listener on clicked, and you pass the star sign id. So each time you click the view, so that I was talking about was when you create the if you see this list view, what is our idea is when you click, whenever you click, you pass the id, the respective id of this star sign. And we are pretty much creating a listener to do that, right? And the listener is implemented by the activity who is hosting this two these fragments. The fragment is like a fragment list or a list fragment, right? Yeah, this is the concept. And what else, like we will also have, like, you know, each view has this id. I have a list of views, and for each views I will just call set the listeners to this. This is pretty much the context. This is the context. uh, Set on click listener is pretty much implementing this view on click listener, right? So pretty much this on click is triggered each time you click the star sign. Each time you click the star sign, you will trigger the set on click listener, and pass this uh, pass this item, and this item, like this view, and this view is again triggered using the click listener, and it is being accepted here, right? So now you have here, you will have the id of the selected id of the selected star sign. Okay, so we will have to implement this one here. Okay, so what if it is like okay, so now also we will let me see what else we can do is yeah, we will also need to implement the detail fragment. And actually our detail fragment will be consisting of a your detail fragment will yeah, let me declare the first the id, like the all the views. Okay, and after we declare the views, we have you see the on create view, which is pretty much inflating the layout. right? And also we need another we need a function which is pretty much set the view on the basis of the which star sign that you have selected, right? So this is like the function which is pretty much set on the basis of your star sign id, is gonna set the values for your view. So your star sign, if like it is gonna set your star sign, your symbol, and then the date range, right? Okay, so this is all about the detail fragment. Then finally what we have to do is we are gonna have to implement this main active like our this dual plane demo activity, right? So how we are gonna implement this dual plane demo activity is we are gonna pretty much say if this is a dual pane layout, at first is false, and how we're gonna get that if it is a dual pane layout. Is dual plane layout. Okay, so if we find view by id, the view r dot id, okay, let me import this sign detail. So it's pretty simple. If we don't find any the star sign detail, you see that our fragment for our normal activity and normal phone screen, you don't have the this is a single pane layout in which you have only one fragment for the normal phone, and whereas for the tablets you will have two layouts, two fragments, that is a dual pane, and you have a star sign list and star sign detail. So to check if it is a dual plane or not, we just need we can simply check and say if you don't find this id, then if the id, if this is null, then it's not a dual pane. But if it exists, if it is not null, then it's a dual pane layout. That's true, so it's gonna return true if it is a dual pane, if there are your star sign detail exists there, right? And so if it is a dual plane layout, then we are gonna do in like perform some actions here, like we're gonna have to navigate to our set, not navigate, let's see, we will have to set the star sign and update the view of the star sign detail from the detail fragment. Okay, so otherwise we are gonna pretty much simply have to navigate. Okay, so using the intent, right? So this is our objective, and so now what we are gonna do is we're gonna use the so we are gonna use this uh, situation in which we are gonna navigate to the view, right? So let me create if it is a dual plane, then we have a detail fragment support fragment manager. Okay, so okay, to give you the brief history, what is this support fragment manager? So fragments actually were introduced in API 11 in 2011 with fragment manager class to manage their interaction with activities, right? So support fragment manager was introduced to support using fragments in Android version before API 11 in the Android support library. So support fragment manager has been further developed as the base of the Jetpack fragment library, which adds improvement for managing your fragments. So support fragment manager is pretty much helps you to manage fragments. And then using the support fragment manager, find fragment by IDE. I want to find the fragment that is a this fragment. So I got this fragment, so I'm gonna access the fragment, find fragment by ID, the detailed fragment. Then this detailed fragment, I'm gonna set the star sign data passing the ID of the clicked star sign. Okay, pretty much it's gonna do like this, and it's gonna update the view. Whereas if it is not a dual pane activity, I'm gonna use a detail intent. And guys, so here I'm gonna use the intent, right? Okay, for the intent, actually, you know, I have to create, so let's do it. But for a little more information, actually, you know, you don't only can do a find fragment by ID, you can also do find fragment by tag, you know. So there are also multiple other possibilities of getting the fragment, like you can find fragment by tag, and similar things goes on. So for accessing our intent, we have to create another activity, which is called detail activity. Okay, let me simply call detail activity. Okay, sorry guys, create. So on this detail activity will be pretty simpler. Let's see if I have any activity. I don't have any activity detail. Okay, let me create a simple activity. Sorry guys. It's activity detail, and yeah, it's gonna create a pretty simple activity, which is pretty much gonna host our it is gonna pretty much host our fragment, right? And here it's gonna be our detail fragment. Okay, it's gonna host this detail fragment. So is a star sign detail. Okay, and pretty much okay, let's set content view, and okay, I set my layout, and then so here I have to pretty much get the extras, and okay, so I'm gonna do that in the continuous process. So okay, let's go back and let's declare the intent. Intent. Okay, and intent this one, and detail activity Java. Okay, let me import it, and let me also define this activity in my manifest. Okay, and what else I needed? I need still one more concept, like, because I have to pass the extras, right? So I have to also declare the constants, star sign id, and so this I will pass the extras in this intent. uh, I will pretty much pass the extras, so put extras, pass the star sign id, and pass the id because I have the id of the clicked star sign. And finally I have to start activity, right, passing the intent. Okay, so here goes. And for the detail activity you have to uh, update the view, right, after you get the id. So star sign id, you get the id from the intents, extras, get int, and star sign id. Okay, otherwise the default value is null. You don't need this. Otherwise, if there is, in case if there is a null point, like if this values is null, then you pass the default value, okay, of 0. So then we get the detail fragment. We always use the support fragment manager. Get fragment, find fragment by id. As you can see, find fragment by also tag. As I was telling you, you can give a tag to your fragment, and then you can access this fragment by tag, right? id. The id of the fragment is called star sign detail as a detail fragment, and this detail fragment we set the star sign passing the id. Okay, not the id, sorry, passing the star sign id. Okay, so pretty much we are good to go. So let me launch the application and let's see if everything is fine. Otherwise we have to just check if something is, yeah, you see, for the small screen size devices, you will only have it is pretty much implementing this single pane layout, right, with just only one fragment. And when you click, you just pretty much start another activity called detail activity, which contains detail fragment with this information, right? You go back, torus, it's a bull sign. You see, you have a leo with the lion and all these date ranges. So for our single pane layout, everything is working fine. So what I'm gonna do here is in your device manager, I'm gonna create a device which is a tablet and of Nexus 7. No, I'm gonna create this one. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna create a tablet. I'm gonna close this one, right? So I'm gonna launch the same application in a tablet now and see if everything is working fine as we have discussed in our tutorial, right? So this Nexus 7, I want to launch it here. Okay, so this is a Nexus 7 tablet, guys, and hope everything is working fine. Okay, it's pretty much loading for the moment, guys. Let's hope. Okay, let me launch the application now, the same application, and let's see if this dual pane layout is being used. I don't see any dual pane layout here. It's pretty much using the same panes. Okay, why it's happening? Okay, let me check why is it happening in this way. Demo activity. Let us debug and let's see what's happening. Okay, so let me attach a debugger to the process. uh, Go back, or okay, let me just run with the debug. So it's connecting the debugger. Okay, let me rotate. um, okay, it seems like something is not working fine here. I want to see the okay, let me close this. I want to create another yes, I want to create a device which is a tablet and of a screen size Nexus 9. Yeah, obviously it's like a emulator, so there might be some issues, so I'm just pretty much retesting it with the Nexus 9. Okay, let's launch the application. Okay, guys, I know why it's not working. It's not working because of our silly mistake here. Is we have assigned a width to match parent. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to pretty much assign our we have to assign a weight to 1, and similarly we have to assign a weight of 2, like it's like it will be the double of your double of your the width of your first pane. The detail fragment will have a like double the size of the first pane, right? Like of your list fragment. So let me apply it. So now it's gonna, okay, here, yeah, here we go, here it's working. So if you click Aquarius, Pisces, you see, let me just close this. Yeah, there was the single silly mistake that we were just, yeah, it happens, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, like everything is working fine for the tablet. And even if you just do some rotation, it's gonna pretty much work fine, right? You have the scrolling here, you have Gemini is pretty working fine, and yeah, all is working fine. So guys, and okay, so guys, little information about this, just be always careful about the silly mistakes, right? When you have like the width which is if it is match parent, then this is if you assign a width of the first fragment to match parent, then it's gonna take the entire space, okay, of your fragment, of your parent fragment. So you're gonna not see the another fragment. So just be avoid this kind of a silly mistakes, okay? But don't worry, because in programming this can happen, okay? And yes, I think pretty much is working pretty fine. And yeah, finally we are able to create a layout for our for uh, tablets. And thank you for listening, guys, and catch you in the next lecture.